are the main 3 points that you're standing for?
Well, the first thing which is really important to me is, and that's really stood out to me, is that in Wanaka we have a huge rate of housing unoccupancy. It's something like around 60% based on the most recent census. To me, as a millennial, that's pretty horrific. Like, we're the generation which is being most affected by the lack of housing, the housing crisis, and we're also a generation which is really concerned about the environment. So I want to work towards a bit more density and being more responsible with their housing and making something available for people like me. Secondly, I pretty strongly feel that building airports on top of 2 of our biggest natural destinations, Wanaka and Queenstown, is absurd. It's not something which exists anywhere else in the world, and if I was elected, I would not feel comfortable voting for any statement of intent from QAC which operated on the 2 airport model, which is what they're doing at the moment. Publicly they're saying that it's going to be a 2 airport model, Queenstown and Wanaka, which I think is quite strange. Thirdly, I feel quite strongly about our natural environment around here. I would like to protect that as much as I can. Our landscapes, I think, they're not just an innate thing, they're something that we really, really need for our tourism industry. And we're right at the end of the world here in New Zealand. Like, we are off the edge of the map. This is the last place we really have a chance to protect those landscapes, to protect that wilderness. For me, that's crucial. And also the greenhouse gases aspect of it. I'd like to see some reforestation around our area, because that's going to suck up a lot of that carbon.
What's your position on growth in the region?
Well, the council does have a legal obligation to provide some housing, for sufficient housing for people living in the area. We have to reconcile that with our obligations to the environment and to the social needs of the people who live here. I think we might have to send some signals through the market as to the amount of growth which the community is willing to tolerate. We're one of the fastest growing towns in one of the fastest growing countries in the world. So yeah, I think the council is okay to take a firm stance on where we can have growth and where the community is just not going to accept that.
And should tourism continue to be our main industry?
We have a good balance. I think that's by far the most stable situation, is to have a bit of farming, a bit of tourism, diversifying our economy. A large chunk of our economy is also people just selling houses. Tourism, yeah, I think there's still room for growth. We need to spread the tourists around a little bit. At the moment we're getting concentration in certain areas, but we need to be thinking at this stage about just how much we can tolerate going on.
And tell us a little bit about yourself and what brings up emotion about our community.
Well, I grew up in Wanaka. I've lived here for nearly 29 years now. I went to Mount Aspiring College, I went to Wanaka Primary School, I studied at Otago, studied law and science there. I work in the ski industry. I'm a skier, one of the most, I love skiing down the Motatapu Basin on a day like today. Yeah.